Have you ever walked into a garden and immediately felt calm? Your shoulders dropped, your breathing slowed. Now, have you walked into a garden with beautiful plants, but it just felt off? I've designed hundreds of outdoor spaces, and the ones that make people feel genuinely good have nothing to do with expensive plants. There's actual psychology behind what makes gardens restorative. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to transform your garden into a space that feels good. Number 8, clear sightlines and visual rest points. Here's the thing. Your brain is always looking for somewhere to stop and rest. When a garden has no visual anchor, you're forcing your brain to work constantly. It's exhausting. Seriously. The biggest mistake is filling every inch of space. Your eye bounces around, never finding rest. Neuroscience shows that when your gaze moves to a specific focal point, a mature tree, focus, water feature, flows, or seating area, rest, your relaxation system activates. Now, I worked on a suburban garden where homeowners felt anxious stepping outside. Despite spending thousands on their landscape, plants everywhere, but nothing to look at. We created a stepping stone path manually, leading to a single mature tree. Once their eye had somewhere to go, everything changed. The homeowner started sitting outside for the first time in years. Stand at your entrance and ask, where does my eye naturally want to travel? Create a clear path and place something worth looking at the end. A mature tree, sculpture, or bench, or a simple garden bench at the end. The result is immediate and stunning. That focal point makes the entire space feel designed. Number 7, layered depth and hidden zones. Here is a counterintuitive truth about garden design. A garden that reveals everything at once actually feels smaller than one where you can't see everything from one spot. When you can see it all immediately, there's no mystery. The mistake is designing one large, flat plane, everything visible from the back door. But your brain engages more when something's hidden. Your brain simply wants to explore the space. I once worked on a tiny urban garden project. This tiny garden was only about 200 square feet. We didn't add anything new. We created 3 distinct zones using low hedging, and then we finished it by adding a pergola. Now you couldn't see the entire garden from one point. 6 months later, the owner said the garden felt 3 times larger. The space hadn't changed physically. The psychological experience had. Create at least one hidden area. A simple screening element, tall plants or a pergola, obscures the view beyond. Your brain recognizes this as an invitation to explore. Suddenly, the garden feels like something you inhabit, not just observe. Number 6, controlled access to nature elements. There's a biological response when you're around plants. It's called biophilia, the innate human need to connect with nature. But here's what most people get wrong. It's not just about having plants. It's about how accessible those elements are to your senses. The mistake is treating plants like untouchable decoration. But the most restorative gardens let you interact with nature in multiple ways. You can touch plants, hear water, smell flowers. You're experiencing through multiple senses. Studies show that touching soil while planting triggers serotonin release. That's the chemical that stabilizes mood and creates well-being. But you get no benefit if the garden is an untouchable museum piece. I redesigned a client's garden that looked beautiful but felt cold. She never used it as it felt more like an exhibit than a home. We added an herb garden near seating, planted fragrant flowers at nose height, and created a water feature you could hear. The garden went from something she looked at to something she lived in. Make at least one element tactile and interactive. An herb garden you can brush through. Planting fragrant flowers adds a sensory layer to the experience. A water feature you can hear clearly. When you interact with nature through your senses, your brain releases chemicals your body recognizes as safe. Number 5, shadow and light contrast. Most gardens have uniform brightness, everything equally lit. This creates a problem. Without contrast between light and shadow, gardens feel flat. Your brain struggles to calculate distance and depth. The garden looks flatter than it is. The mistake is assuming more light equals better. Bright, even light kills the mystery that makes gardens feel alive. Sharp contrast between light and shadow defines the space. Makes your brain work to understand the space. This engagement creates a sense of richness. I assessed a garden with bright white floodlights. At night, it looked clinical, like a parking lot. We replaced them with warm-toned accent lights. creating shadow patterns through plants. Suddenly, the garden had depth and mystery. The owners started using the space in evenings. If adding lighting, aim for 2,700 Kelvin or warmer. That's the natural and relaxing temperature. Position lights to create shadows, not eliminate them. A light behind a plant creates shadow patterns. That pattern tells your brain there's dimensionality in the space. Number 4, sound design and acoustic comfort. Your brain processes sound before visuals. And in gardens, sound either creates calm or stress. Most people ignore sound entirely, but it's crucial. The mistake is not accounting for outside noise. A beautiful garden assaulted by traffic noise won't feel restorative, no matter how pretty. Your nervous system stays in alert mode. Your brain is programmed to detect dangerous sounds. Loud, irregular sounds keep your system activated. Predictable, gentle sounds do the opposite. I specified a simple wall-mounted water feature for a courtyard backed onto a busy street. A simple wall-mounted feature costs about $300. Before installation, traffic noise was present everywhere. After, the water completely masked the traffic. The client said she stopped noticing the road within a week. If dealing with background noise, introduce a gentle sound source. Moving water is ideal. A fountain, you can choose a stream or a modern water wall. It is important to keep the sound source gentle. The goal is to mask unwanted sounds. The impact is significant. A garden with acoustic comfort. A garden like this feels truly private and restorative. The same garden without sound control feels exposed and anxious.
Number 3, rhythm and repetition. Your brain loves patterns. It needs them. Repetition creates order and safety. When a garden has visual rhythm, your nervous system recognizes it as controlled and intentional. This triggers relaxation for your nervous system. The mistake is creating random variety. A little of this plant, a little of that, scattered throughout. It looks chaotic because there's no pattern to latch onto. I worked with a client who had beautiful variety but said the garden felt busy. There was no repetition, no pattern. We reorganized the same plants, repeating specific plantings at intervals.
The garden didn't add a single plant, but suddenly felt calm and collected. Choose 1 or 2 plants you really like and repeat them throughout at regular intervals. A repeated plant creates visual rhythm your eye can follow. Pair this with repeated hardscaping elements, the same stone material, same edging, and you've created coherence. The result is a garden that feels designed and intentional. Your brain recognizes the pattern and relaxes into it. Number 2, natural materials and authenticity. Gardens made entirely of synthetic materials feel fundamentally wrong to your brain. Your nervous system detects something off. Natural materials communicate something deeper, that this space is alive and real. The mistake is choosing materials based purely on maintenance. Artificial plants, plastic edging, and synthetic pathways last longer, but create subliminal anxiety. Your brain recognizes them as fake. I worked on a meticulously designed garden that felt sterile. Much was composite or synthetic. We replaced hardscape with natural stone and edging with real wood. The budget was similar, but the psychological impact was entirely different. The space suddenly felt grounded and authentic. Choose natural materials wherever possible. Real stone, real wood, real soil. These materials age and develop character. Your brain recognizes this as evidence of a living system, creating peace and trust. Number 1, seasonal transition and year-round interest. This principle separates gardens that feel alive from static ones. A truly restorative garden acknowledges change. It transitions through seasons. It feels like a living system, not a frozen moment. The mistake is designing for one season, usually summer, hoping it looks fine the rest of the year. The result is a garden that feels complete for 3 months and abandoned for 9. Your brain needs environmental stimulation. When nothing changes, your brain stops paying attention. Meaningful change keeps your neural system engaged. Meaningful change keeps your neural system engaged. I evaluated a garden a client called depressing in winter. In February, it was completely flat, no structure, just bare soil. In summer, planting hid this. In winter, there was nothing. We added evergreen structure, winter interest plants, and year-round visual elements. Now the garden actively engages every season. Design your garden in 3 layers. First, year-round structure, hedging, topiary, paths. Second, seasonal elements that change. Third, accent plantings. This creates a garden that evolves. Your brain stays engaged throughout the year. The garden doesn't disappear in winter, it transforms. That transformation keeps you emotionally invested.